unbeatable, I'm unbeatable, I'm unbeatable.
I am unbeatable. Couple minutes on the score. Every time they wanna clash, the winners kicking through the door. I am unbeatable. Chances running out of stop, and we're running out the clock. I fail once, never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
It's Saturday night, which means it's time for Hoops here on the British Basketball League YouTube channel and the Fubo network in the USA. Tonight, the Bristol Flyers host the Manchester Giants in an intriguing matchup. Manchester may have lost their last 11 games, but Bristol struggle against the Giants. They have lost their last 2 matchups in the league, most recently by 23 points. The Flyers are looking to finish 7th or better and avoid a London quarter-final in the playoffs. Keeping their eye on this one is Dan Routledge and Ant Rowe.
Thank you very much, Tahir. Yes, and that battle for 7th just heated up a little bit with Surrey beating Newcastle earlier. The Flyers have to respond now against the Manchester Giants. And Manchester has been a long time since they've won a game. This is a game where Bristol need to get on top early, isn't it?
Yeah, the urgency is from Bristol Flyers straight away. You know, they've got more at stake in this one. And this is a team as well that have won some recent results that we perhaps didn't anticipate them winning. So they're a team that's peaking at the right time as we enter the playoffs.
Well, let's have a look at the lineups for today's game, starting with Bristol Flyers, as you say, seem to be peaking at the right time at different times. It's different people. It could be Green, it could be Lucas, could be Ollison, could be Johnson, any of them really. They're looking really good right now, the Flyers. At the other end of the floor, Manchester, well, they're a bit thin on the ground. Mason Boursier joining Jamel Anderson on the absentee list, so big minutes lined up for this starting 5. And talking about that Bristol team, there's a lot of places you could go with a guy to look at the beginning of the game. You've gone with Tevin Ollison.
Yeah, the sharpshooting guard from Memphis, Tennessee. This is his 2nd season with the Bristol Flyers, and he has evolved since his production last year into a superstar. Look at his numbers, 16 points per game. But more impressive, he shoots 37% from the 3-point line, but he's got that pull-up mid-range jump shot and also got the versatility to get to the rim. He's a formidable scorer.
Well, if Manchester are going to end this long losing run, they're going to need a big game from William Lee.
They are a big game from their big man. The 6'9" athletic from Selma, Alabama, was brought to the British Basketball League by the Leicester Riders, where he was part of a silverware winning team. Different circumstances in the Manchester Giants, but he has been a bright spark for them. 13 points, 8 rebounds a game, and he's always there looking to block a shot or 2.
Well, Coach Kapoulis and his team won on Thursday in Newcastle, but it won't mean anything if they can't back it up here. We'll have tip-off right after this. Welcome back to the wires. Ed Yudansky has the ball in his hands, and we're ready to get things underway. He's alongside Ian McDonald and David Griffin.
Strong lineup there.
Yeah, I was just thinking, a long way down for Ian. And we get underway here in Bristol, and it's Manchester with the first possession of the ball game. Lewis. Well, Ed Yudansky was open for the catch and shoot there, but turned it down. It's out of bounds.
I did say it was a strong referee lineup, didn't I? I wasn't sure they were looking to contribute offensively, but difficult start for Manchester Giants, let's say.
Well, you'd think this Giants uniform is bright enough that you would have seen a teammate, but Brad Green in close, just trying to pad his offensive rebounding stats there, can't convert. Lewis trying to force it past Johnson, but can't. Scrappy start. Lucas steps into the three. Lee out, streaking in front. Stampley. Oof. Petey Johnson leads the league in charges taken, and that is why.
Good defender, excellent anticipation there. He's does a really good job of moving his feet quickly as well and making sure his body is in line between the offensive player and the basket.
Green. Back out to Bradley. You don't want to sack too far of him. No, lovely ball movement by the Flyers for two.
Great patience there from the Bristol Flyers. Inside, outside. Brad Green didn't force the issue there when the double team came. He knew the ball was going to come back inside to him. Easy finish.
Stampley. Nice touch for Manchester's first score.
He's someone who's been playing really well for this Giants team. I think he's a guy that just puts in a shift every night, whether he's shooting high volume shots or not. He'll give you 100% while on court.
Well, he's got a big challenge here with Green, and he hits the deck. The referee gives him a flop warning, and Green gives him 2 points.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much Legend Robertson features today as well, because he'll be one of the very few guys big enough to be able to contain Brad Green down low.
Stampley inside towards Lawton, who falls out of bounds, and that will go back to the Flyers. There is Legend Robertson. He's had his issues with injuries through the course of this season. So coming off the bench here today.
Well, not a lot of teams have a 7'1" center coming off the bench to aim to impact the game.
Bradley for three, knocks it down.
Very patient offense from Bristol Flyers again, and Levi Bradley, someone who's he's shown big games up in this league.
Lewis, too long on that. Green running rim to rim. Oh, what a block from Lee.
Oh, goodness me, William Lee just came out of nowhere. And the long big man just blocks that out off the backboard.
Comes out to Harris, rims out. Lucas skips it cross court to Bradley for three. And you've got to rebound well if you're going to fare well in this building, that's for sure. Manchester on the glass that time. Here's Lawton at the free throw line. Well, 4 Flyers going after the defensive rebound. Manchester just 1 score to show for the opening 3.5 minutes. Here's Green in close.
And that's the luxury they have, is to dump the ball down low to your walk-in double-double. Brad Green, who's very useful in and around the basket, making high percentage shots.
Very useful at the other end as well, making it difficult for the guards coming in. A little ambitious there from Johnson. Well, Harris thought he'd commit a foul. The referee didn't. Lawton keeps it alive. And thrown in by William Lee.
Good finish from William Lee there. It's difficult off the runner, floater shot. But he makes it.
Bradley back out to, needs to go up. Bradley gets the shot away. Lee with the rebound.
Good defense there from Nicholas Lewis. Stood straight up, gave Levi Bradley no space, even though he had the size difference.
Lewis finds a little seam in the defense and lays it in for two.
He's done well there, and not great defense from Bristol Flyers. A straight line face cut there down the middle of the lane.
Bradley steps into the three. Long rebound comes out to Johnson. Bradley's going to try again. Green with the offensive rebound. He is fouled, and he will go to the line for two. It's a slender Bristol lead as the first time out of the game is called. We'll take a break as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bristol, where Brad Green has 6 points already in this contest. If he makes one of these 2 free throws, he'll have outscored Manchester in the first 5 minutes of the game. And he'll get himself a breather as well as Leslie Smith checks in for him.
Positive start there, and strangely, Brad Green goes off and Legend Roberton comes on.
Well, there's plenty of bulk in Leslie Smith as well to match up against.
There is indeed.
Stolen away. Jacob off to the races and will jam it in.
Well, that's a good sign, because Trayson Jacobs has been someone who struggled with being fully fit and healthy. A breakaway dunk there would suggest that he's feeling pretty good about his body right now.
Lee down to Roberton. Flat on that shot. He's on the floor, so they've got numbers here, 5 on 4. Bradley thought about the 3, took it at the second attempt. Got one to go consistently so far. He's 1 for 5 from behind the arc.
And all of his shots, Dan, have been open, have been casual threes. Manchester Giants are baiting him into shooting it.
Well, that's one way of putting it, as Roberton rocks the rim. Leaving him wide open might be the other one, rather than baiting him.
No, valid point. This is not a team that has been able to complete many defensive assignments well this year, conceding 92.3 points per game, which is the worst allowed points per game in the league this year.
Jacob way off the mark. Oh, Lewis has a lane to the basket. And eventually the defense recovered, but not in time. Lewis will go to the line for 2 free throws.
I think that's the opportunity that Giants have got here. The start to this game, incomparable to the game played earlier today. The intensity is level 3, and the game we saw perhaps earlier was sort of in your high 8s, 9s, and 10s at times. So what Manchester Giants have the opportunity to do here is to take advantage of perhaps Flyers' complacency, because Flyers haven't, I would say, jumped out the gates here. Their intensity is somewhat casual, and they look to me like a team that feel pretty confident they're going to win here today. So if Giants can get an early lead, and this is what they did a lot of earlier in the season as well, they were able to jump on teams because of their offensive power that they have, and teams were chasing the Giants in certain instances.
Well, the Flyers, we talked about them and their battle with Surrey to try and finish 7th. It's not out of reach. They could get higher than that, Bristol, because Leicester and Newcastle are both on 17 wins. Bristol on 15 with 2 games to play. Bristol would top out a multi-tie with those teams. That obviously would require Leicester and Newcastle to lose their last 2, but it's still mathematically possible. Robertson forcing it in.
Good finish there. Benjamin Robertson taking his time, and the big man was able to muscle that up through Leslie Smith's arms. Nice finish. Leslie Smith getting up a lot of size there as well. Benjamin Robertson at 7'1", and Leslie Smith 6'7", 6'8". Even though he's got that bulk, as you rightfully described, Dan, he's given up a lot of length against Robertson.
Well, the rebound pops back to Lewis, who can't convert, and eventually Bristol secure possession.
Nicholas Lewis will want that one back. He should have done a bit better there with that one.
Thomas Edwards looking for room along the baseline. There really isn't any there. It's come back to him, and somehow he squeezed it in.
Wow, I don't know how that did, but sometimes fortune favors the busy people, and he was busy on that account.
Lewis throws it all the way back up to Lee. Oh, man slips. Lee knocks down the 3.
Wow, William Lee evens the score here. That pump fake. Is it Trajan Lucas sliding across the floor here? Look at that, goodness me.
Well, it was a 3. They've only given him 2 on the scoreboard. There you go, it's corrected now. It is 14 points apiece, and Coach Kapoulis calling for a timeout. Both teams, well, particularly Bristol, struggling from 3-point line, and Manchester, a decent recovery. They looked a little off it in the first couple of minutes, but they've got back to level pegging now and forced a timeout for Bristol. Well, this is the last 4, but that run of L's goes all the way back to December. It's been a long time.
It has, and it's, I think, really difficult for a group to stay motivated when you know that your playoff aspirations are over, and you're consistently losing. It's not easy, but why they got complete contrast the other end of the bench here, where Flyers have actually had some really important wins there. Newcastle, Leicester, Cheshire, wins that they can be really proud of. And Coach Kapoulis cannot be happy, I think, with his team's, approach to this game. It's been very casual. They look to me like they're a team who believes they're going to win this game, and that's a dangerous game to play. Remember, yes, Manchester Giants are not fighting for playoff positions, but they've got it's a no-fear mentality. They've got nothing to lose, and that could be a dangerous outfit as well.
Well, let's see what the reaction is out of the timeout now from the Flyers. Samuels taking over the point guard duties. I don't think they'll run the play he drew up, because he's still pointing at who goes where, Coach Kapoulis. Inside is Ollison, tipped off the rim by Lee. Jacob trying to drop it off. No room, but enough room for Thomas Edwards.
Thomas Edwards just creates his own.
Oh, and they've stolen it back, and Jacob jams it in.
Wow, Trajan Jacob looks very active since introduction into this game. Second dunk of this evening for him.
Lewis fires up the triple, back iron. Ollison trying to go to work, gets all the way to the basket. And they've come out of that timeout a lot better, haven't they, Bristol?
They have, and nice crafty, intelligent play there from Ollison.
Walsh direct to the basket as ever. It's out of bounds, and it will go back to the Flyers.
He just seemed to lose his legs there as he penetrated into the key.
Oh, stolen away. Now it's running it back. Smith trying to put him off, and he did enough.
He did excellent work there from Smith just to body him.
Ollison takes the three himself. Thomas Edwards trying to keep it alive. Manchester have it. Harris out in front, and this time he lays it in.
Good finish. It's really little resistance from Flyers there by way of defensive transition.
Ollison kicked out to Samuels for three. Off the mark, and that'll do it for a quick opening quarter here in Bristol. Flyers lead this one by 4. We'll have the second quarter right after this. Welcome back to Bristol. You feel like Andreas probably wouldn't have been too happy with the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game, but his team look a little bit more at it in the last few minutes.
Yeah, I think it's a good synopsis of that. I think he just wants to maintain his team's urgency and understand that this is still a live basketball game and things can change in a matter of seconds.
Foul called against Roberton. Be an end-line ball. Not many fouls in the game so far. It's only the 5th combined. Oh, Smith gets wide open underneath, and Ollison would have tipped it in if it hadn't gone in. They were queuing up there at the rim.
They were indeed, and again, lack of detail, or attention to detail from the Giants on the defensive end.
Harris trying to get it back to Lee. Thomas Edwards just couldn't quite keep the ball in play. No reset of the shot clock, so Manchester have 8 seconds to work with. Harris to Lee. Gets it away in time, off the mark, tipped down, good work from Jacob. Jacob now at the offensive end, wedgie. You don't see the three-point wedgie too often.
No, but you could see as soon as he let it go, it wasn't headed towards the rim.
Here's another look at it. You can see it's definitely going left and short. Stolen away by Smith, who is almost given to him. Ollison, there we go, that's more like it. Well, they've been 1 for 10 from behind the arc, Bristol before that one. Foul goes against Thomas Edwards.
There's Evan Walsh here now attacking. And Tevin Ollison with the open three. And that was a worry, you know, pre-game as why, and why we're keeping an eye on Ollison, because Giants haven't done a particularly good job of identifying and locating sharpshooters this year, and Ollison is someone who can severely punish them from beyond the arc.
Well, it's nice of Evan there just to check on the young girl, does the floor wiping at the end there. He went, "You okay?" And then got back up to his feet. Did a game with Evan a couple of weeks ago. He's been in your seat, so to speak.
He has done very well.
And that one rattles in. He gives a little signal to the table. 2 for 5, though. Not great from the free throw line for the Manchester Giants thus far. Bradley for 3. So Jones with it, almost stolen away. Drop down to Robertson, who throws it down.
Good work there from Callum Jones. You knew what he was trying to do there. He was trying to get into the heart of the defense and get the defense to commit to him, which he did well. And legend Robertson with another dunk.
Randolphi. They're all collapsing in on Green. He's managed to get the pass away. Ollison has to shoot it. Rebound Bradley. Johnson for the triple. He hits.
That's the thing. As long as you get the shot off, the Flyers have always going to give themselves an opportunity to get an offensive rebound. And Keely Johnson this time was ready and waiting.
Jones at the elbow. Classic Callum Jones shot that.
Classic Callum Jones. We've seen that so many times over the last decade and a half, maybe more.
All-time leading scorer for the Manchester Giants, Callum Jones. Walsh, ooh, just batted away. Well, he doesn't play as much as he used to do, Callum. He was never a high-volume scorer, say, like his sister, his other brother James, or even his dad Jeff, but ever dependable, and he's been part of the Manchester Giants since the rebirth of the organization.
Yeah, he was an excellent rebounder for his size and position as well when he was younger.
He always made good decisions as well.
Yeah. Didn't there, but
no, not the best decision right there, to be fair.
I'm sure he'll limit those. Well, just a needless foul, but just because the rotation is so lean for the Manchester Giants, just 8 players in rotation in its entirety today, which again very sparse.
Brad Green, it's been easy for him down in the low block today, hasn't it?
It has, and he makes it look easy as well. What a stellar season he's had. One of only 2 players in the British Basketball League to average a double-double. 12.7 points per game and 10.7 rebounds.
Stolen away, unsportsmanlike foul is the call. Landolfi had the ball and it must have been a grab from behind, so he'll get a walk down to the free throw line. Let's have a look. Stolen away, and yeah, Lawton not really making much play at the ball there. Just a bit of a lack of discipline, that. Biggest lead of the contest now for Bristol.
Landolfi is someone who's had an interesting journey to date. He's played over University of West Virginia Mountaineers. He had a college career and then he dropped down a couple of divisions, went to NBL Division 2 where he averaged 17 points per game, and now he's getting opportunities, sporadic opportunities for the Bristol Flyers.
Bradley shovels it back to Ollison. He's going to have to shoot. Back iron, but again they get an offensive rebound. Bradley has the size mismatch here, trying to take advantage of it, and he certainly did. It's not seen the 3 ball go in too many times, but there's 2.
No, what he's trying to do, he's always trying to get to the middle to his left hand. As you say, Dan, he's got a good 3 or 4 inches the advantage of Nick Lewis.
A long outlet pass, just double deflection there off Lee and then Green and out of bounds.
Tough pass, ambitious to try and get over athletic 6'9" William Lee.
Lewis. Round to Harris. Harris running out of clock here. Gets the shot away and gets a nice bounce.
That was good defense, just better offense there from Harris. Nice play.
Green, cross court to Landolfi for 3, off the mark. Lee. Looking for the handoff, keeps the ball for himself. Now he needs some help. Jones to the spin, a little step away. Back iron. Lucas. Bradley, again, trying to use that extra height that he has. Kicks it out to Landolfi, long way into that shot fake. Oh, is that a pass? Does he get an assist for that?
Yeah, it's like the football terminology. Just cross it in, get the big guy's head on it. Brad Green will say thank you very much. That'll be one of the easier baskets I'm sure he'll have tonight.
Lewis mid-range, batted out, but only as far as Harris. Trying to find his way through a gap. He will go to the free throw line for 2. It's a double figure Bristol lead. Timeout is called. We'll take a break as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bristol, where Manchester in a little bit of a hole here in the second quarter, trailing by 13. So what I've learned during the break is there's free coffee if somebody misses 2 free throws. So the fans are getting super excited, which is why Walsh signaled on the previous time. So they're desperate for him to miss this, but he doesn't. And you can look at the disappointment. What I want to know is, do we get free coffee if somebody misses 2 free throws? Do you reckon we're in on that deal?
That's a good incentive, though. I like that initiative.
Here's Bradley. In and out.
Now, you're in the southwest, Dan. Free cider. That's where
free cider.
That's where you'd really get the.
They have
fans.
a cider sponsorship at the Flyers as well. Surely that's how you do it. Walsh is going to pull up. He's going to miss that one and out of bounds. He just stepped into it, didn't he?
It's effortless from him as well. He's been doing that all year.
Well, Bristol now have the level of comfort in the game that they were playing like they had in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yes.
Smith out to Lucas. Green, he's certainly been very comfortable. He's got 13 points, he's taken 8 shots, he's got 4 offensive rebounds as well.
Wow.
That's going to be a hell ball. Got 2 hands on that Lucas, and the possession arrow gives it back to Bristol, but I mean, he's just looked so comfortable today, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, and he's had a remarkable season. Again, walking double-double, it's so hard to do, to average double digits in points and rebounds. He's done that consistently for this club.
Smith off the front of the iron. Stampley, no way through. It ricochets out, and it will stay with Manchester.
Good stand there from Brad Green as well. Didn't reach, didn't jump either. He just stood tall and made things difficult for Stampley.
Lobbed in, oh, too high. And slowing it down and running it back in for 2. Tevin Ollison.
Such a smart play. We saw him do that earlier this game. Take the left-hand dribble there and get a little bump, and then finish with the right hand.
That's a grab as well, and they called an unsportsmanlike for a grab earlier, and they're going to call an unsportsmanlike for the grab there as well. Not much play on the ball, just trying to keep the big man on the floor. So that will be 2 and possession. And, well, guess what his profession is, Ant? It's Jake Heenan. He plays for the Bristol Flyers. It looks like he's been in the wars there. In flanker position, that's a dangerous spot to play in sport.
It is indeed. He's got the
scars
to show.
Right, this is what you've got to look forward to. Your son plays rugby nowadays, doesn't he?
He does. He's under 8s, and it's non-contact at the moment, and next year he'll transition to contact, so we'll see.
You'll be seeing that every Sunday. Well, Ken Legend give them some coffee here. Yes, everybody gets a free coffee. Even the professional rugby players are happy with that. Look at them all going wild for their free coffee.
And there's the ones there that are sitting there quietly. I don't drink coffee. Oh, I would love it if they did a cider one. The place would go absolutely ballistic.
Well, Robertson has turned an unsportsmanlike foul into free coffee for the crowd and possession for Bristol.
He's going to be the most loved man in the whole arena.
Well, Bristol just motoring away now. They've scored the last 7 points, trying to get it to 20. And Keely Johnson uses all of the rim, but he does push it out to 21 points. Roberton trying to give Green a taste of his own medicine, but Green stands up to it. Smith strings the triple.
Confident looking shot from Smith, and we've seen him make threes throughout the course of the season. Not someone who will look for it, but if given the opportunity, he's made enough this year.
Stolen away, but kept by Manchester. Here is Lewis for three. Roberton inside. He blows the layup.
Goodness me. There was two Bristol Flyers players that collided into one another, which made the ball fall loose. And Legend Roberton sort of rushed that one. He didn't need to.
The coffee update is apparently Jake Heenan owns the coffee shop that's giving away the free coffee, and he was the one celebrating the most. He's going to lose all that coffee, but he will get a lot of people through the door. Buy a cake, people, when you go.
That's it.
Thomas Edwards cannot convert from close range, but the Bristol Flyers have still doubled the Manchester Giants up in the first quarter, outscored them 2-1 here through 20 minutes. It's 48-24. Ant and I will look back over it all right after this break. Welcome back to our coverage of the British Basketball League here. Daniel Ratledge and Ant Rowe with you, and Bristol are doing what they're supposed to do here. putting Manchester to the sword.
They are. There was a timeout taken halfway through the first quarter where I think Coach Kapoulis had to realign the mentality of his guys. They've responded really well, and Giants are the struggling team, and it's evident.
And we'll have a look at the numbers, and it's evident on there as well, because you can see Bristol have made twice as many shots as Manchester have made. Giants have also added in 12 turnovers.
Yeah, that's not going to help. You know, they're a team that averaged 15 turnovers, and they've already got 12 at halftime, so that's already an uphill battle. I'm surprised at the assists. I felt like Bristol Flyers have been sharing the ball really well, getting good open looks. Not that they've had to rotate the ball very much. Manchester Giants, a lot of one-on-one. You can see that their offense is very labouring in that they're not moving the ball. Just 7 assists for them at halftime.
Giants, 6 missed free throws equals a lot of coffee.
It does. That's the important stat on the host. You see, there was the free coffee stat, which was handed out in the first half.
Let's have a look back at the action from this first half, and it was just easy, wasn't it? Really, for the Bristol Flyers. Maybe a little too much, which is why they called that timeout you talked about.
Yeah, I think the biggest advantage Giants had here tonight was the complacency, or trying to steal and catch the Bristol Flyers by surprise due to their complacency. That has been eradicated. You know, second quarter was big for them, and I think the crowd got into it as well, which would sort of play to the advantage of the Flyers on court. And Giants, they're getting looks themselves, but again, nothing really that's put any real level of fear or jeopardy into the Bristol Flyers.
Because the other thing is, whatever you think about the 48 points that they've given up, 24 is not going to win you a game anywhere.
No, it's a combination, isn't it, of lack of defense on the lack of discipline, on the defensive end, but also lack of creativity on the offensive end. So it's a double whammy. And look, you're down by 24 at half time, so you know a lot of things would have had to have gone wrong for you to get in that position.
And from Bristol's point of view, all they need to do now is just come out second half, maintain that sort of level of discipline, keep moving the ball to find the open shots are there. And see if they can get a few more cups of coffee won.
Do they get a free cup every time that happens?
I don't know, but might as well.
Wow.
In for a penny, in for a pound, and all that. Anyway, we'll have the second half shortly. First of all, we've got some highlights for you. In a moment, we've got the earlier game between Surrey and Newcastle, but first, Sheffield against Caledonia.
Clifton Moore Jr. keeps it alive for Quad A to bury his first bucket of 3.
Well, that's the problem now.
Atiba Lyons he wants to have a word with the officials.
Yeah.
And Atiba Lyons is still not happy about it with the officials.
Well, he's got to compose himself because he has been teed and he's worth nothing in the locker room if he gets a second tee, and he's still going for it, Todd.
So it is official. Atiba Lyons has been ejected with 4:20 to play in the first. Gosh. He didn't even make it 6 minutes. Patrick Whelan takes a long-range 3 from Edinburgh and buries it. Nice kick to the outside and finds a wide-open Jalen Pipkins, who needed that. So another opportunity for Sheffield to cut it to 1 or pull even. Nice drive to the lane. Strong move. It looks like Sheffield has made Caledonia a little bit one-dimensional as CMJ rights the ship. 5 seconds to play now. He's going to take it one-on-one. Prentice Nixon holds in the air, and of course, Quad A Green gets it to drop as the horn sounds. Quad A Green loses the handle, and now the Sharks are off and running. And look at this. Sharks have got themselves a nice little run going, and the fans are back into it. So the guards will do battle for the remainder of this third. Nice drive down the lane. Well done and well executed for Jalen Pipkins. Remember, Drew Lasker talked about him taking a new role for the squad off the bench, and another opportunity, and he'll throw it down again. Baldwin. Shot clock at 3. Johnson's going to have to rush this one, and hits. Trying to maximize everyone. Beautiful pass to the inside, and here comes the Sharks looking to race it up. Ramsey, Adelrock, and the foul. Bothwell races out in front. Easy layup up and off the glass.
Wonderful move, Bothwell.
Prentice Nixon out and running. He's got his running mate there, and it's a nice, easy skip pass as he finds RJ Edelrock.
And Sheffield get it done at home, Todd.
The Sheffield Sharks defend their home court here at Cannon Medical Arena.
Gooden with a little slip as well. He fires up the triple. First made 3 of the game for Surrey. Here's Johnson. He knocks down Newcastle's first triple of the game. Second quarter, Delpesh spinning and pulling the rim down.
Great move there.
Lobbed up to Jameson, who jams it in.
Wow, easy as they come. Orchestrates the offense.
Nice pass. Oh, and jammed in by Delpesh. Steal down to Jameson, who went maybe a little quicker than he needed to. Wang has it. Lawrence into the key and finally gets the scoreboard ticking for Surrey.
Wow.
Oh, Lawrence through the contact with 1 on the shot clock. The drive and kick. Whitfield relocates for 3 and he hits.
He's done really well there.
Austin drops it off to Defoe, who gets up for the throwdown.
Wow.
Lawrence stumbles, still gets the pass to Ogundengbe. Foul, and 1! He struggled as well shooting-wise. Nice pass, and Jameson jams it in. McGill driving hard through the contact, and 1 for Ricky McGill. Gooden for 3. Oh, Cam Gooden to stretch the lead out to 13. Quick outlet and not finished by Austin.
Oh my goodness.
And a foul on the, everybody's up here. I think Newcastle wanted a goaltend. Surrey are happy there's a technical foul called, I think, against Austin. There's another technical foul called. There's another technical. I think he's been disqualified. Coach Stoutel is going wild on the sidelines, and I think he's been given 2 tees in the process.
Wow.
Oh, he's absolutely livid, Coach Stoutel. He's got to go all the way past all the fans who are more than happy to wave him off. Now the shot clock being counted down by the fans. Wang drives in, tosses it up high and in off the glass. That will do it. The Surrey Scorchers have beaten the Newcastle Eagles, and you can see the reaction from the fans. They've really enjoyed that.
Look at that. The front row are going wild.
Welcome back to our coverage of the British Basketball League, where Bristol are well on top against the Manchester Giants. Let's have a look back at all of the scores so far this weekend in the British Basketball League. In fact, we'll look at the table first, where as it stands, Manchester are still there, but they're struggling, and Plymouth had the head-to-head, so if it finishes like that, Plymouth will be above them. But Bristol are closing the gap on the teams above them. Can they catch them? It's still mathematically possible, but not a good result this for Surrey Scorchers. Here are the results from this week. Cheshire winning on the road in Plymouth, and Bristol likewise in Newcastle. London made it 0 for 2 for the Patriots at the Pavilions this weekend, and Sheffield at home against Caledonia early. A great win for Surrey, 90-77. 2 games tomorrow at 3 and 6. Make sure you join us for those. But, well, in this first half, one guy who's looked super comfortable, Brad Green.
He has, and he's that walking double-double that we've been accustomed to seeing all year, but the quality of shots that his team get in and around the rim, and they put trust in him as well. They'll feed the big man, and he mostly delivers, and here he is going right at Lawton. You see the size and the strength advantage he has here, and he's fully utilising that. And even if he's not given the ball, he's that ability to just know where to position himself, offensive rebound and put back.
The way he finishes with that, it's like even straight on, he has a sort of hook shot to it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a quality player and a very good recruit by the Bristol Flyers and Coach Kapoulis this season.
Well, Manchester, if they're to do anything in this game, it has to come now, doesn't it, really? They have to come out of the locker room and win the first 5 minutes. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how they react as well. A heavy loss in the first half, as we know about the score, but, you know, it's now like, what has the coach said to them at half-time, and how are they going to respond?
Well, there's 2 on the board for William Lee.
That's a positive response. Went straight at the defender, and they've got the ball back already. The early turnover from Flyers.
Well, Lee's going to look for 3, not this time.
Have a bit of a better shot there as well. And yes, I know you've got to shoot yourself back into a game to an extent, but that could have been another aggressive attack to the rim, put pressure on the Flyers defense.
Ollison driving in, blocking foul is the call. Pile of bodies on the floor, and at the bottom of them is Austin Lawton, who gets up and gets the foul.
You see Ollison, and this is an area of his game he just didn't have as much of last year. He was a very good spot-up shooter, and the Flyers did a good job of finding him in open spots, and he averaged 10 points per game last year in doing that. But this year, he's just added other areas to his game, is the ability to, yes, the defense have to respect him because they know who he is now, but also the end product, the ability to score off the dribble with a pull-up jump shot, or, as we just saw there on the last sequence of events, get the defense to commit fouls on him as he's attacking the rim.
And he makes both of them from the free throw line. Harris, line drive, and the slap from Lucas will send him to the free throw line.
Harris is a player who's been in and out of the team. I think he struggled with his health this year with injuries. He's another individual that hasn't really been able to fully settle into the team, and it's been the biggest question mark this year for the Giants has been their import players and their ability to be able to settle in. They've had players on the roster that's played in the British Basketball League before, in Jamal Anderson and Evan Walsh and Legend Robertson, William Lee, but it's been the rookies and the import players that have perhaps found this transition the hardest.
The other thing is that once you get into a rut, as that one's passed straight to Lewis. Oh, volleyball spike from Johnson chasing it back.
Keely Johnson, he's got a nose for and a desire to play defense. You'll see him pop up with big steals. Look at this, goodness me. He's going to hit his head on the backboard.
Lewis off 1 foot, leaves it short.
Nicholas Lewis again, someone with abundance of British Basketball League experience, and then you throw in Callum Jones as well. So this isn't a an all-rookie team with no experience. They just haven't been able to mould, I think, the experience with the youth.
I guess that's probably the most frustrating thing when you look at Manchester and where they are, is the experience they've got. You know, it's one of those things, if it's an all-rookie team and, you know, young guys that you're not quite sure, but you look at it and you go, William Lee played on a very good Leicester team in this league, and so too did Anderson and Walsh, and Lewis has been in the league for a long time at Sheffield and Manchester and London. That's kind of the surprise when you see that, you know, December 29th was the last time they won a game, and it's just such a long stretch for players who've proven themselves in this league to not find some way of winning a game.
No, agreed, and it stretches as well to the sideline as well, Dan. You know, you look at the coaches that are successful in this league. They've been coached in this league for a very long time. Okay, Coach Bozic is the exception to the rule of or the example I'm trying to paint here. But you know, remember, this is Brian Simeone's first year as in the British Basketball League, and he's been supported by Paul Campbell, the assistant coach, who's been very proactive as well. But again, in terms of qualifying years of experience in the British Basketball League, it's very limited.
Well, it's one of those things as well. You wonder at times whether they get away from what's effective for players. So you look at somebody like Lewis, you look at Nicholas Lewis, and just picking him out at random, somebody like him who been around, been a big scorer in this league. His shooting numbers are way down on his career high. And is that because he's carrying so much a load, because he plays so much at point guard, so he's having to create for everybody else as well as to create for himself? And
yeah, I think so. And ultimately, for me, like, as a former player, I'm going to be biased. I was never a coach. I never really had a desire to be a coach. But for me, the bottom line is the coach's job is to get the best players out of his individual players as a collective unit. And you've got to figure out ways to do that on both of those two areas. And it's very difficult because the team goals and objectives are sometimes different to the individual goals and objectives. So I'm not saying this is an easy gig by any means, but that ultimately is what the case is. And you look at a guy like Nicholas Lewis, I think you break his performances down into 2 seasons. The beginning of the season, he was so much more productive in terms of his scoring. But just now, when you look at the way he plays now, he just doesn't have that same, I think, fearless confidence about him, which I've played against Nick Lewis, so that's how long he's been around for. He's been around for a very long time. But you're right, he hasn't been a player who's been able to maintain that, and his performances have dropped in the second half of the season. And as a result, too, that's correlated to Manchester Giants, and hence why they haven't won a game since Christmas.
And it's not to signal, I mean, we just picked him out. We're not picking on him per se. It's the situation at Manchester, and I'm sure the Giants fans have been frustrated, and as you say, at times Nick Lewis has been at his usual high standard, and he is a tremendous scorer, and perhaps it is actually the production from other areas that they haven't been able to get more so than anything Lewis has or hasn't done.
I mean, you'd contrast that as well, Dan. The last year's team, Manchester Giants, you had Vince McCauley, who has so many years of coaching experience. Ramon Fletcher, a former British Basketball League MVP. Dirk Williams, another British Basketball League MVP caliber type of player. You sprinkle those in with Jamal Anderson and other guys, Callum Jones with that British Basketball League experience as well. It was a completely different team last year in terms of their performance.
And it must be hard for them as well, because, as you say, with all of that experience, it means you've won a lot of games, because you don't play for 10, 15 years without winning games along the way. And to be going through a slump like this must be difficult to go to work every day.
No, agreed. And I've been there myself. My rookie year with Plymouth was a very difficult year. We had a losing season. Thankfully for me, it was my only losing season. But I do remember, the feeling of every single game. You're just. Sometimes you get to a point where you're trying to compete, let alone win basketball games. It's an awful feeling every single week when you're performing. And it goes back to real life. When you have a bad day in the office, you can kind of get, no one really sees, but when you have a bad day when you're a professional basketball player or an athlete, it's for everyone to see, so there's not really any escaping it.
Well, there's nobody sat there going, well, I would have sent those emails a different way. You know, what's he thinking there? He's gone too informal with that email. You just don't get that, do you? Whereas we sit here and pore over what's going on or not going on, as the case may be. But Bristol still in control of this one, leading by 22 points. 4:52 on the clock. Timeout is called. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to Bristol, where this is the hottest ticket in town. This is how you get the free coffee. Manchester have already missed 2 free throws in a row. You've got to be quick, though. And there is the owner, Borough Cafe. Is it a cafe, a coffee shop? And take it along and you win. You got to be quick, though. You got to do it in the next week. He seemed happy for a man giving away a lot of coffee, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what how his legal team is, but I would have put the terms and conditions in there. Not applicable to 7'1" centers who shoot below 50% from the free throw line. Anybody
who's shooting 38% from the free throw line doesn't count.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an email you send on Monday morning to the team.
Yeah, to the legal department. Here's Walsh underneath, has it stolen away. Ollison continues to pile on the agony.
Incredible. Good steal there from Ollison, and easy pull up for him. 18 points personal for Tevin Ollison.
Walsh dancing his way with a great finish.
Wow. He is so good at that, and I wish the team could put him in positions to do that more.
Johnson around the high screen. Smith at the elbow has enough room to let it fly. Thomas Edwards still chasing down the offensive rebound. Samuels comes up with the loose ball. There's RTE again going after it, but not this time.
He was going for it, wasn't he? Good play there from Thomas Edwards.
Lewis for 3 off the mark. Thomas Edwards on the glass at both ends. Johnson will shoot 2. And Tevin Ollison just asking the question there as to whether that was a little hard as well. Seen a couple of unsportsmanlike fouls already. Oh, that's right on the line.
Yeah, it is. He's been such an exciting player to watch as well, Keedy Johnson, and we've been a little bit misfortunate not to have him as well for the full season. Remember, he was out with was it wrist or a hand, broken hand?
Yeah.
Did 6 weeks out on the sidelines. He was in a cast at one point, but you've seen the quality that he brings. You know, he's a rookie, West Virginia.
Missed a dozen league games, but seems to be rounding into form in the last few weeks. It's been really good. Obviously was key in the comeback in the fourth quarter on Thursday night at Newcastle.
I think that's been the most impressive thing about him, is his ability to make plays down the stretch. He did it against Leicester as well, and he's just had some really impactful games where he's just taken over late in the game and secured the victory for his team.
Lee is fouled. Smith turns to the referee and goes, what? And then he realizes that referee didn't call it. You look at the wrong way. So William Lee will go to the free throw line. Well, Coach Simonian looking as frustrated as all the Giants fans, you should imagine. It's hard just to keep things chugging along. I guess they're near the end of the road now, aren't they? It's whether they can get one more win on the board before it all finishes. It doesn't look like it's going to be tonight, though, as well. Banked in by Thomas Edwards.
Now, and you ask yourself where it's going to come from as well, because it just feels like every opposition that the Giants play at this moment in time, they're fighting out for positional play in the playoffs. Well, it's just much more of an incentive for them to get the victory.
Well, they go to Leicester next Friday. Obviously, Leicester need to win their last two to have a chance of fourth or fifth. And then they're at home to Newcastle. So they could have an impact in the playoff order, but both Leicester and Newcastle will be expected and expecting to win those games.
Yeah. And unlike our traditional culture of season-ending potential relegations, etc., of course, there's no relegation in the British Basketball League, so there's none of that jeopardy for Manchester Giants as well.
Well, one last game here for the Flyers before the playoffs, and it still has an outside chance of being a playoff preview. Bristol against Caledonia. It's unlikely they will fit in opposite seeds, but it's possible. Samuels, deep three from Johnson. All string Keedy Johnson.
Wow, well, Giants packing in the zone now, so they're playing to protect the interior, but when Keedy Johnson pulls up like that, difficult to mitigate that.
Well, you saw Manchester's three-point shooting percentage in the single figures and going down after that one. Let's try another one. Stampley this time. Nope. Here's Lee. He gets some second chance points.
So long and athletic. Want him to remain as active as possible.
Look at that, though. 7-3 in terms of the second chance points made. And you know when you play Bristol, second chance points is going to be an issue. They've got 19 of them. They've also got 19 points from turnovers as well. And 38 points from those sorts of plays is way too many. That one didn't hit the ring, so it's a shot clock violation.
Callum Jones did excellent there not to jump into Trajan Jacob on the pump fake.
Evan Walsh hands it off to Callum Jones. Lewis, foul by Samuels, and they're over the limit, so that'll be 2 free throws for Nicholas Lewis.
good move there from Lewis. Flyers made the bonus here.
Well, it's only the, I think, 11th foul of the game against Bristol. There have only been 20 in total. You feel like it's probably not the hardest game the referees would have had to deal with this year.
No, agreed. Well, they've had a long season too, Dan.
Yeah,
So.
there's been 2 ejections in consecutive days in the British Basketball League. There's been quite a few coach ejections this year.
It has, yeah. I can't remember seeing as many.
There's obviously Atiba's gone twice, Rob's gone twice, Mark Stugel went today.
Kapoulas
went from a game. There's been quite a few. Brian Simonian got DQ'd from a game as well.
All the cool kids are doing it, Dan.
Well, yeah. Just got to be careful they don't kick me out and leave you on your own. Here's Smith driving in. You've done it before. You could fill in for me, couldn't you?
I'd rather you not get yourself ejected, Dan. So yeah, that's.
Yeah. We'll save that for another day, perhaps. Sam Rowe and his lead commentary skills, but you have done it once or twice.
Yeah, I'm better talking to you than I am myself.
Well, Manchester Giants are trying to get something positive to take out of this game. They're not going to make it all the way back and win, but just trying to get something going.
Oh my
goodness!
goodness!
A 3/4 court heave. Well, that's got them on their feet here. Jacob from inside his own half. We saw Keedy Johnson hit one from 3/4 court a couple of weeks ago. And here's Jacob from just inside the halfway line on the 3rd quarter buzzer. What a way to end the period. And smiles all around. 4th quarter, we'll be with you right after this break. Well, we had a 3/4 court, 3rd quarter buzzer beater a couple of weeks ago here, and we got one from the half from Trajan Jacob, knocking it in and skipping his way around the court to celebrate.
I heard he gets free coffee for a whole year for that one, Dan.
He ought to. He ought to. Flyers looking to stretch this one past 30. Olesen, tough shot.
Wow. That is a tough shot. Nothing but the bottom of the net as well. Not much the Giants could do about that one.
There's Walsh in close.
Good play
Tough
there.
finish. Oh, and a sloppy one. Inside to Jones. Walsh underneath. Loses it out of bounds. Well, there have only been 12 games this season where a team has lost by 30 or more, but Manchester have been on the wrong end of it 4 times already.
Wow.
And it looks to all the world as if they're going to make that number 5 here as Bristol move into the 30s in terms of their lead. Walsh for 3, knocks it down.
Good shot there from Walsh, and he looks comfortable in doing that as well, and that's an area of his game he's going to want to keep expanding on.
Well, he's certainly been one of the brighter sparks in the Manchester team this year. And there he is getting to the basket, and he's forced Andreas Kapoulis into a timeout there. And 76-50, the playoffs are almost upon us here in the British Basketball League.
Get ready for the playoffs. With 8 teams in the women's and the men's league fighting for a spot in the playoff final.
I put the work in, you put the work in, everyone knows you deserve it. They must be blind like curtains, certain anything you got, you've earned it. Sky is the limit, it's reachable. Just jump high, it's achievable.
Can't stop me, I'm unbeatable.
I'm unbeatable, I'm unbeatable.
Opponents don't score. Every time they want to clash, the winners kicking through the door.
I'm unbeatable.
Chances running out of stop, and we're running out the clock. I fail once, never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable.
I'm unbeatable.
I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
I'm unbeatable.
I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
British Basketball League 2024 playoffs. Don't miss any of the action.
Well, it all comes down to May 19th at the O2 Arena in London. Tickets available now via the British Basketball League website. You can scan the QR code and get yourself straight there. And make sure you are at the showpiece finale of the season in the men's and women's British Basketball League. The interesting question is how far Bristol might go in this playoff, because you look at the roster and you look at the way they've been playing and the games they've won away from home in recent weeks. They're going to end up probably in the 7th seed. They're pretty talented to be a number 7 seed, aren't they?
They are. You wouldn't want to play them. I wouldn't want to play them in the first round. And the answer to your question, the difficulty they'll have is because they're 7th seed. Let's just say they progress to the next round. They'll play the highest seeding in the semi-finals, which would be London if they advance to the semi-finals. So, really difficult path to the O2 for Bristol Flyers being 7th seed.
But they will feel confident about how they're playing, won't they? That's the thing, is the way they've been playing in recent weeks. And it is one of those things, you were one. Professional athletes believe in themselves. They wouldn't be professional athletes if they didn't believe in themselves.
No, Exactly, and I think this is a group as well that's been through a lot this year. I would classify the Bristol Flyers as being one of the most unluckiest teams this year with injuries. It started off from pre-season where one of their key imports got injured, and it didn't really ever stop for them. You know, they were playing domestic competition as well as the European competition in the Europe Northern Basketball League, so they had a very heavy schedule with a lot of injury sprinkled in there, and here they are now in the last stages of the season, still fighting.
Well, they would have been expecting. Obviously, they had their best ever finish last year, third in the table, had the same record as Leicester in second, and they were hoping to build on that. And the squad they put together looked capable of doing that, but as you say, it's slightly derailed. But they've got the chance to try and make something of a run of it in the postseason. Oh, nice. Lovely little finger roll.
That's really nice, and again, that's an evolution of the versatility that he's showing now.
Lee strings the triple. They haven't made too many threes here today, Manchester. That's just their fourth.
And that's something they weren't struggling with early in the season. Yes, we could criticise and identify deficiencies on the defensive end, but oh goodness me, Evan Walsh took one there. But shooting the basketball was something that they were, you know, relatively consistent with.
Evan Walsh feeling the full force of Leslie Smith there.
Doesn't look like Leslie Smith agreed with the call
well,
either.
No, he's certainly arguing his case. Tell you, Evan Walsh do well not to end up looking like Jake Heenan at the end of the game, taking hits like that.
We have to get himself a spot on the team as well.
You could see actually, Leslie. He looks like he's got the physique for rugby player, number 8 maybe. He's a big lad. Here's Lewis, back iron. Rebound pulled in by Johnson. Well, Bradley's not had his best shooting night of the season, to be truthful. 1 for 9 now from three-point range.
Wow. He's got open looks too.
Yeah, he's had some really good looks. Manchester are somewhat fortunate. His radar's been a little bit off, because with the looks that he's had, he could have made 6 or 7 of them, and the scoreboard would have been even worse. Tipped in by Lee. 4:14 on the clock here. It's a 21-point Bristol Flyers lead. Timeout is called. We'll be back after this break. Well, John Lansdowne is in the house, chairman of Bristol City, the man behind Bristol Sport, of course, and he'll be enjoying how the basketball team have been getting on here today as well. It's been a tremendous backer of sport in this city, and certainly one of the key reasons that Bristol are where they are with this basketball team. It was a fascinating piece, I don't know if you saw it on the British Basketball League website the other week, of Andreas Kapoulis and his 20 years with the Flyers and the sort of dreams that they had at the beginning, but they could never have imagined they would get to this sort of level.
Wow, competing in European competition this year as well, and it's, as you say, Dan, it's been a long owed journey for him, but he must feel so proud of his input and what he's created here today.
Bradley just a little short, but enough on that one. I guess from the Flyers' point of view, their last 2 games being at home is pretty nice. You don't have that last long road trip before the playoffs was on Thursday, and just get a bit of creature comfort, get a bit of rhythm, keep this momentum going, and get yourselves in the right mindset for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so, Dan. I think they've done their fair share of traveling this year across Europe as well. So, no, I think it'll be a good preparation for them. And they've got guys back recently as well who've been out with injuries. So, you know, what you don't really want as well is you want you guys to have their home comforts and be comfortable playing at home again. Not having to travel these long distances. So, yeah, I think it'll be good preparation for them. Wow, spinning shot like from Evan Walsh. If that one, if he pulled that one off, that certainly would have found its place in the top 10.
Foul called as Green goes to the basket. There's always that interesting thing as well, looking forward to the playoffs. Not just Bristol, but a number of teams, is that thing when playoff basketball comes around, people go, oh, it's about how much depth and which guy and whatever. And yet the rotations, in my experience, tend to shorten a little bit when it comes to playoff time, because you don't have 2 or 3 minutes to see, has this guy got it? Is he going to get it? It's in and out. You've got, if it's not working immediately, coaches have to change it quickly, and how players take advantage of that and how people fit into that.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Dan. And one of the dynamics quite unique in its own right is that naturally the intensity of playoff basketball goes up. It's literally do or die, but your rotations are shorter, so you're having guys playing heavier minutes, and a lot of people always automatically look to the physical fatigue that causes, but it's the mental fatigue as well. It's the, can you make the right plays and the right times to put your team in position to win the game, and that's the dynamic I really like looking at. And you know, I've been a player, I've been there before, and that was the difference between championship teams that I've been on and the championship, and then the non-winning championship teams.
2 more games left this weekend. Speaking of the playoff picture, Sheffield, who are seem to be hitting form at the perfect time. They're looking to try and seal themselves a spot in the top 4 against Cheshire, who are trying to secure 2nd place. That game tips off at 3 p.m. Tahir and Azania Stewart will take you through that, followed at 6 p.m. by Caledonia Gladiators against the Plymouth City Patriots. That's a must-win for Caledonia. No ifs, buts, or maybes about that one. They have to get the win on the board at home. And going back to that, obviously it's reverted back to a best-of-3 playoff series. Obviously the last time they did that in British Basketball League career was long before you started, Ant, but I know you're a fan of the best-of-3.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it plays out, and you know, it's something that I've been wanting to see in it for a while. I wish we had it when I played. It was always the aggregate score and home and away, and you combine the 2 scores. So, no, really excited about the 3-game series here now. This is for the 2024 playoffs.
Of course, it was supposed to come in 2020, wasn't it? It was slated for best-of-3 in 2020, and then COVID came along and ended the season a little early for us. We never got to it.
No.
But we will this time around. Of course, it does change the way you play the game. It's a bit more regular, if you like. The aggregate always made every possession seem as hugely important at the end of the first leg.
Yeah.
Might not see all of that this time around, but might see a few game threes along the way.
Well, it means you can get blown out and it
Doesn't matter, yeah. Other than the psychological scoring that it might give you. But you have seen that, how it can, in the old format, how it can affect a team, whereas you can almost wipe it out now if you do lose that first leg. Well, minute and a half to go. There's foul there as Cooper drove to the basket as the shot clock was ticking down, and Max Cooper looking for his first points, not only of the game, but of the season. He's only taken one shot so far.
He's a late addition, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's only played 4.5 minutes coming into this game.
That's the last place you want to be as well, trying to get your first points.
Oh, from the free throw line. Oh, he's missed them both.
You'd rather just be the fast break, open court by yourself. Instead, he had the whole arena looking at him.
He's got to buy everybody on the squad a coffee now, I think.
Yeah.
He's missed two. Isn't that how it works?
Well, credit to Giants as well, Dan. I mean, look, this could have very easily been a 40-point game. You know, they were in a period of time they were down 31, was it? And
yeah.
You know, not looking very optimistic, but they have responded, and credit to them for not throwing in the towel.
31 points was the biggest margin. It's 21 now.
They're winning the second half.
Small victories. Nice pass. Lawton underneath will lay it in. Well, Lewis is just grabbing at people. I think he's had enough. He has played big minutes, to be fair to Nicholas Lewis. He's played almost the entire game. William Lee with the rejection. Evan Walsh going to the hole, and it is a foul on him, much to the pleasure of the Flyers faithful.
You can see the Flyers trying to get their players on the score sheet, but it's not working out for them.
Yeah. Well, Cooper hasn't. There we go. Lewis finally gets called for the grab. Unfortunately for him, he's still got 2 more fouls to give.
Why is he doing that?
I don't know. You might as well leave it now. There's 24 seconds left. All you got to do is let them shoot, get a rebound. Why is Cooper handing that off as well? Just jack it, I would. No, he's trying to file out, isn't he?
But if he waits 20 points, 6 seconds,
it's over.
it's
Yeah,
all over.
I know. Well, they're over the limit now, so he probably won't get to anyway, because it's going to be 2 free throws.
Saying that, maybe he's onto something, because the Flyers have missed their last 5 or 6 free throws.
Yeah, yeah. All Manchester need now is a 20-point shot on the final play.
We're going to overtime.
Here's Walsh. Out to Lee. Lawton's going to get the final shot of the game, and that will do it. The Bristol Flyers, very comfortable indeed. Took them a few minutes to get going, but once they did, they were over the hill and far away. Have won this game by 20 points. Your player of the game, Ant?
Mr. Tevin Olason, I thought he was excellent. I mean, he was a player that we picked out as a player to watch, and I worried for Giants in this game just because they hadn't done a great job, especially of late, of locating guys, especially from the perimeter, and Olason was certainly someone who hurt them there today. 4 for 8 from the three-point line for him. Of his 24 points, 6 rebounds as well. He hurt them in a number of different ways, and again, it just reconfirms the versatility he has now as a legitimate superstar in this league.
Well, very, very comfortable, efficient stat line from him. And really didn't seem unfazed at all at any stage in the game, did he? Just let it come to him. Even the beautiful little finger roll at the end there.
Yeah, very efficient today. And did you say that? He just took it in his stride, didn't need to force anything, and everything much came from the natural offense and then creating shots for himself.
Well, Coach Kapoulis, I'm presuming, saying, let's just move on from this one. Let's not get too high on this. Let's have a look at the numbers from this contest. And unsurprisingly, they are fairly weighted to the left-hand side. Manchester turning the ball over. They actually, in the end, it came a bit closer on the rebounding than it felt, but didn't make enough shots. And if you don't make enough shots, you're not going to win the game.
No, and they showed, what they have there offensively. The second half, they were, the second half of the third quarter onwards, they were very productive. They seemed a lot more confident in their shot making. It was like they knew that they were going to lose the game, so they could just let free and play freely. And as a result, they closed the gap.
Well, let's remind ourselves of all of the results so far. Double defeat for Plymouth at home this week. In between that, Newcastle lost at home to Bristol. Sheffield get one on the board for the home teams, beating Caledonia in a low-scoring game at the CMA. And then doubleheader today, Surrey beating the Eagles. Big win for them as they try and catch Bristol, but then Bristol match them in kind to pull further away, winning by 20 here. 2 more games left this weekend. Sheffield Sharks back at home, Cheshire Phoenix in town, and then Caledonia at 6 p.m. taking on the Plymouth City Patriots. This is what it means for the table. You can see Bristol maintain that gap from Surrey. They will almost certainly finish above them now, but Manchester, well, the end is nigh for them. They're just 2 games away from the end of what has been a difficult season for them. Bristol, though, another good win on the board. 1 more home game to play. Win that, get themselves set for the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's been a fantastic finish of the season for the Flyers. The only loss in the most recent games, 4 or 5 games, is against London Lions. So they've had a really strong finish to the season, and I think that's a really good foundation now then for them to build on as they enter the playoffs.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to be back with us tomorrow for 2 more games. But for now, goodbye.